a classified Starfleet project that was successful, to ultimately be buried by Starfleet never to be used again, the Spore Drive was an amazing leap in Starfleet propulsion technology. Hello and welcome to Trek Facts, a fun and fast informational series on the fundamentals of Star Trek. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the Spore Drive to better understand its place in Star Trek history. The displacement-activated Spore Drive hub, or the Spore Drive for short, was the idea of two Starfleet officers named Lieutenant Paul Stamets and Lieutenant Strahl. Their theory postulated that the entire universe was connected by a web of spores, known as the mycelial network, that were the building blocks of energy itself. And using a specially constructed drive, they believed a starship could be used to travel this web anywhere throughout the known universe in a very short period of time. When Starfleet was thrust into a short war with the Klingon Empire in 2256, Starfleet co-opted the research and began to vigorously develop it for military purposes. And to speed up this process, Stamets and Strahl were split apart onto two separate ships, the USS Glenn and the USS Discovery. Progress was very slow going initially, however, but in late 2256, the USS Glenn seemed to have solved the problems of jumping, and as a result, Strahl seemed to be winning the race to spore travel over Stamets. However, after a successful trip into the Beta Quadrant and back, the USS Glenn encountered a Hawking's radiation wall while exiting the mycelial network, and this caused the death of the entire crew of the USS Glenn. Investigating the disaster, an away team from the USS Discovery encountered an alien being similar to a tardigrade lurking throughout the ship. Bringing back data and technology from the Glenn, along with the tardigrade, the USS Discovery then scuttled the Glenn and began to recreate the success achieved in the Spore Drive technology by their sister ship. Once it was realized that the problem with the drive was one of biology, that the drive itself required a sort of biological navigator connected to the system to traverse the network, the crew of the USS Discovery immediately used the tardigrade as that component, and the Spore Drive became a complete success. Utilizing the drive, the Discovery was able to travel anywhere along the war front within a few seconds and was able to save many ships and colonies as a result. Michael Burnham, however, soon became concerned that the jumps were actually causing harm to the tardigrade, something later confirmed by one of Discovery's doctors. And under orders to keep the drive up and running at any costs, Stamets genetically modified himself to be able to be the navigator of the Spore Drive, and the tardigrade was subsequently set free. During a daring maneuver to save the planet Pavo from the Klingon Empire and render the Klingon stealth technology useless, the USS Discovery initiated 133 successive jumps and gathered all the data they needed to defeat this new Klingon technology. And although successful, it was quickly discovered that the effect of using the technology on a human was far too dangerous to both its human subjects and the mycelial network itself. Starfleet, as a result, would end up classifying and decommissioning the propulsion system until a non-human interface could be developed. With Pavo safe, and the Discovery holding the much-needed data Starfleet required, Stamets volunteered to initiate one last jump to Starbase 46 to get the crew back to safety. What no one knew at that time was that Captain Gabriel Lorca was actually manipulating Stamets, Starfleet, and the crew of Discovery in an effort to return to the universe which he originated from, an alternate universe, or parallel reality, that Starfleet would come to call the Mirror Universe. Lorca was successful in altering the navigational data and jumping to this evil parallel universe. And once there, Lorca initiated his plan to take over the Terran Empire and oust its current emperor, Philippa Georgiou. He was unsuccessful and thwarted by Michael Burnham and the crew of the USS Discovery, and believed to have been killed. and Discovery was able to ride the shockwave of the destruction of the Terran Empire's ship and arrived back in their own universe, albeit 9 months later than they had intended. The Spore Drive would be used in 2257 a few more times before the USS Discovery's apparent destruction. And since then, Starfleet has been unable to make the Spore Drive a viable means of propulsion. It is unknown if Starfleet is continuing its research on the network, but it is believed that the technology has been given up on entirely in favor of more obtainable technologies such as transwarp and quantum slipstream drives. The Spore Drive technology remains classified.